There's a client of ours, Brian Meisberg. I got to shout him out in Buffalo, New York. And he was one of our top performers in Asher. And I was kind of trying to figure out, like, what did you do? Like, why do you have so many more patients than anyone else? Mm-hmm. And 2 personal training gyms, all he did was just went and talked to every client. Like, hey, have you ever taken a GLP? And they're like, yeah. He's like, awesome. We're going to do that here, but you also get a personal training session. It costs this much per month. Are you in? And it was the same price they were already paying, but it came with the PT session. And he added like 80 clients in a week. And it was just like, now he wasn't high ticket. He was just doing a monthly, which you have the option to do with Asher. You can do monthly. It's a little bit less profit margin, but that was so simple. And now it's just part of their membership. Like, they just go. And so there's so many ways to make this simple and easy. People, like you said, people want it. They're already doing it. They're just not telling you.
Is adding peptides or GLP-1s to your business worth it or not? Welcome to the Profit Lifestyle for Fitness Entrepreneurs podcast. My name is Scott Carpenter. I am a personal trainer turned multiple gym owner and investor who's already been through the rock bottom and near bankruptcy in the fitness business. But I've been lucky enough to come out the other side and have turned the profits of my fitness business into indestructible wealth. I'll be sharing the no bullshit strategies, tactics, and advice to win big in business and in life. So if you're a gym owner, a personal trainer, or an online coach who wants to make multiple 6 figures in take-home profit and have the freedom with your time to actually enjoy it, subscribe now to this podcast. This is the show for you. All right, welcome everybody back to the Profit Lifestyle for Fitness Entrepreneurs. I'm your host, Scott Carpenter. I have an amazing guest, Justin Lesh, who I'm really excited to have on. And he's with Asher Med. And today we're going to talk about is adding peptides or GLP-1s to your business worth it or not? And this is something that I have really been mulling over for quite a few months and the different ways to get around it. And I know a lot of you have too. A lot of you have been wondering, could I monetize this big trend of peptides, of GLP-1s, and actually HRT? Is that something I can do in my studio? It's obviously growing and cannot be stopped. It is the absolute future. But there's a lot of red tape. There's a lot of legal things. There's a lot of, is the juice worth the squeeze? And a lot of different ways you can go about it. So, Justin, you've come on to, kind of chat about this and where we're at and everything. I appreciate having you on.
No, thanks, Scott. And again, you bring such a valuable piece to this because there is a business side. And I think that's the challenge. Asher Med's value is we want to bridge wellness and medical. And for anyone who's been in fitness or training for a long time, it's like you have the purists that know everything about the technical side, but then they can't sell or they can't package or they can't grow their business. Mm-hmm. And so I love that you're helping people bring that all together as well.
Yeah. And it's kind of funny because we just got introduced randomly from Matt Wilbur, actually, right? And I've been to a lot of conferences. I speak at a lot of conferences, right? And I've run into several companies that, their kind of arrangement is they'll partner with you, the gym owner, the online coach, the trainer. They're going to partner with the fitness professional. And basically they get like a cutback, right? Maybe whether it's 10% or 15% if, right, once you make that connection, if they sign up for GLPs or peptides or whatever it is, you get an affiliate commission. And, with me, I've looked at that kind of stuff, and quite often the juice isn't worth the squeeze on that, right? With all the extra work you're doing and this and that, and it's another thing you got to train your staff to do, or you have to do, or the fear on a lot of people's minds, whether they consciously think about it or not, is, well, if they're spending all that money on the peptides and on this and on that, are they going to stop with me, right? The fitness professional. And so there's those worries, and especially you're also handing that conversation and the client's direction off to somebody else, right? Who happens to be a medical doctor. And you don't know if that's going to help with your retention or hurt with your retention. And then again, your margins are pretty thin if you do that. So what I'm finding out is that a lot of people are passing on that, and probably wisely so. The juice might not be worth the squeeze. The extra revenue might not be worth it. And, people are, I've been wanting to look into, how do you do this yourself? How do you do this legally in compliance where you don't have to necessarily, put a doctor or a registered nurse on staff and do all that kind of stuff? And it just happened that I got introduced to you and was really excited about learning from you and kind of what you do on that side of things. And then I just had to have you on the podcast. And the cool thing is, I've got the Gym Profit Summit event coming up February 12th and 13th. You're actually going to come. I've invited you to speak there as well.
I'll be there. It's right here in my backyard too.
Yeah.
Well, Scott, one thing I want to share real quick with your watchers and viewers is I think my backstory plays into this real quick. So I am a trainer's trainer. I started in 24 Hour Fitness in 2002 in like a total ghetto area. I had to sell people off the floor. Fitness manager, went to work at Equinox, went back to 24 as a manager for Fitness Manager. Then I opened my own facility in 2010. And for like the last 20 years, like I was in fitness. I was at every Perform Better, the Cosgrove's mastermind, Thomas Plummer's a mentor of mine, worked with, so many of these things. Started with Gym Launch after my third facility, went to work with Alex Hormozi at Gym Launch after I sold my facilities. And for like 20 years, that was all I did. And especially towards the end, it was in the marketing and sales with Alex. And then I kind of just went a different direction, and I kind of landed in medical. And so for the last 6 years, I was taking all these things that I had learned in fitness into the medical side, and people were like, what's a lead? What's an, it was just mind blowing. But one of the things that really started hurting my trainer heart was like, we started helping a lot of these clinics launch their GLP-1 programs. And so these are medical offices, but we were doing the marketing, sales, fulfillment for them, very similar to like a Gym Launch model. But none of these locations, if I'm honest, gave a damn about their people. We worked with over 1,000 clinics in our agency. And we would try to give them meal plans to give their patients. And like, oh, we're not going to deal with that. We would try to give them workouts to give their patients. Like, no, we're not going to deal with that. And I just had this conviction of like, we're hurting people. Like, we're not helping. Like, that was my mission when I was in fitness for so many years. And these doctors, they just didn't know any better. And so originally we started a patient care company. We're like, what if we could do the online nutrition? We could do the training, all the stuff that we had the skill sets for. And the doctors just had nothing. They wanted nothing to do with it. It wasn't valuable to them. And so the whole idea Asher Med was like, there's this whole group of people out there that because of either undercapitalized or they don't have the right letters behind their names, they can't access this tool. GLPs and peptides are a tool. It's no different than a kettlebell, but they can't access this because these people are already holding on to it. But then these people can't access the coaching, the nutrition, the stuff that really matters long-term, the habit change. And so that was kind of how our company was formed, is how do we get these medical tools into the hands safely of people who actually care about the patient, will walk with them, coach them, habit change psychology, all of that stuff. And here we are now with 6,000 patients in 500 locations.
It's amazing. That's so cool. And it's funny because like all this stuff has not been around, at least public facing and well known, for a very long time. But in this very short amount of time, it's really surfaced. It's just amazing the amount of people that are doing this. And I think a lot of fitness professionals at first, they panicked a little bit with it, right? Especially with like Ozempic and that. They panicked a little bit with it. Like, well, why don't you just do it the right way? But like very quickly, like the study came out, like 1 out of 8 adults are on it. And that was within like a year of this kind of stuff becoming public, right? And then I think people are realizing now that, hey, it is a tool to help. And our role as fitness professionals is even more important in this from what you just said. Because there's plenty of facilities and doctors out there who are just prescribing it and nothing else. And we all know people are going to be in a bad place if they don't do the strength training, if they don't clean up their habits and all that. So, I think this is something that we need to get ahead of as fitness professionals. And right? There's a lot of there's a lot of clients who hide it from their trainer, right? Because they feel guilty. They feel like they're cheating or they're going to be looked down upon. And we need to embrace it. We need to help them do it the right way. That's my thoughts on it.
I was on a call yesterday with the guy who's the head of education for a big franchise, but he's still in one of the clubs. And we've been talking for like 2 or 3 weeks, and they're struggling to like adopt this in their head. And everyone has that one client. It's always a woman. She's like 35 to 40. That's just a beast. Back squats more than most of the guys, but just her weight never goes there. She's built like a softball player. And all of a sudden that girl's down 20 pounds and she's been there for years. Mm-hmm. And he said, we talked to her, like her in-body looks great, everything. And finally she admitted, she's like, oh yeah, I've been doing this for like the last 6 months. But it was like, until that point, he was completely against it. And then he's like, oh, she looks great. Finally. Yep. And she's been doing everything. And so it's not for everyone, but I think for the trainers that are insecure, like you're more valuable than ever. And especially because the way we've set up Asher is you're part of the team. It's collaborative. It's not sending it out somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've had somebody like that. I haven't worked in my gyms in a long, long, long time. But I had this one client and I worked with her just remotely. Right. And I just knew she was one of the hardest working people. right? And, she had PCOS, so everything was hard for her, like impossible. And it's just the level of the workouts she was doing and what we did with nutrition. It's like the math doesn't add up. Like it just doesn't. And she has, she goes to an endocrinologist and this and that, but it's the standard stuff. And I'm like, listen, this isn't going to happen until we get you the right help. And so I sent her to somebody, but that's somebody that I could have helped too had I met you during this time, right?
Well, and I think that's the huge thing is like, as a trainer, I did it for 20 years. How many times have you referred someone to an endocrinologist, or your client's knee is hurting and they go to the doctor? The doctor's like, well, lose weight. It's like, thanks, doc. Like it's such separate silos when it doesn't have to be that way.
Or worse, they tell you them to stop working out.
Oh yeah, or go run more. Hey, you need to lose weight. Go run more. It's like, that's not really going to help them. Like, yeah. And I think that was a big thing. And that was a big part as we talk about our medical team later is when we started this, we kept trying to find the doctors. And even with the doctors, we couldn't find doctors that bought into the healthy things we need to. And so our chief medical officer, Dr. Broussard, you can look her up online, but she's been on Dr. Phil. She's been on the doctors. She is an advocate of strength training. She has an in-body in all her facilities. Like she wants to make sure that people are doing this the right way. She lost 100 pounds herself the right way earlier in her life. And so she's a big advocate of that. And we wanted to make sure that a medical team aligned with that because it doesn't work if one thing believes this and the other side doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And so, yeah, you've kind of found a way, because this has been the big thing that prevents people from doing something like this or looking into it. It's like, yeah, I'd like to have control over the process. So I can package this as part of my program, as part of my solution. But instead of, just handing it out to somebody, I hope they do okay and making 10%, right? I want to retain control over this process and the client and the program, but I don't know how to navigate it. I don't know in my state if I need a nurse practitioner or a doctor on staff, or how I can partner with somebody that keeps me legal, that keeps me safe. And kind of what you have done, you found a way to do that for pretty much everybody, right? And this is, when you showed me this, we hopped on a Zoom call. I'm like, oh shit, I'm really excited about this because it's cool. So can you kind of share a little bit about all of that?
Yeah, I mean, so going back to, we had this marketing agency in the space, and so we were working with 1,000 med spas and clinics, and some of them were like injectors that if they wanted to go get a person to prescribe GLPs, they'd have to go hire a nurse practitioner, or someone go get what's called a medical director, which would oversee them in their state only. And then you still had to have nurses on staff to inject. You still had malpractice insurance liability. It's about $150,000 a year lift. And that's before you make a single dollar. And we're just like, most trainers can't do this. Like, it's not even feasible. And so the way we've set it up is we have licensed providers in all 50 states, and we serve as a connection between the two. So in a way, you are still referring to that doctor, but the way it's processed is how I would have wanted it as a gym. Like, I know you're sitting there, you've got this person. I mean, let's be honest, we've all been in consults where the person's crying. They're telling you their deep, dark, dirty secrets, and you don't want to make that sale and then go, oh, by the way, go spend $300 over here. Like, it just, no, hey, we're going to do this. But the other piece is, we really wanted to stay in our lanes, because I know every trainer that's watching this probably has their own methodology of how they want to train, how they probably want to do nutrition. And we'll make recommendations to you, the trainer, on that, because there are some things with GLPs and peptides, but I don't want to step on your toes. If you believe in intermittent fasting and that's the thing you want to do and think is best, we handle the medical. So we will be checking in on weigh-ins to make sure that their weight's going the right direction. Anything vitals going like that, if there's any complications. If that patient comes to you and says, should I cut my dose, yes or no? The trainer should shut up and say, hey, let's text the care line. And to be clear, the care line is not Asher Med. It is the care line, because we don't want to make our company famous. We want to make you the hero in the story.
Yeah. And that's such a great, like, I absolutely love that, because, everybody listening knows that I really teach how to charge your value, how to come up with, by selling a solution, not sessions, right? And how to charge your true value. And, this is something with the medical weight loss. It's so much easier to get people excited and in the doors in a conversation with medical weight loss than it is doing it the old fashioned way. Right. And, I work with people who, like Kai Hauser, he's in College Station, Texas. He's a former family medical doctor, right, who opened up a gym. And I taught him how to do high ticket, right? So his main one that he does is it's a 12-week. It incorporates nutritional guidance, incorporates the workouts, and incorporates the weight loss drug that he uses, right? and he charges $5,000 for it. And like clockwork, you know, he brings in 30 grand in new business every month from this. It's so much easier. And he's got a mid ticket and a low ticket, like I teach, right? But on just a high ticket, he brings in 30K a month, new business. And, you know, it's so much easier for him to get people in the doors when talking about medical weight loss, right? Or whatever it is, rather than, right, just the gym. And I just wish everybody could do something like that, because it's obviously not everybody's a family medical doctor who was also, you know, has that. So this is an avenue to do it.
Well, and something, and I know we're kind of jumping around, but something you said that I need everyone to understand too is these people, the average GLP, peptides, we'll talk about peptides too, but the average GLP patient is on medication for 6 to 9 months. This is going to fire up some trainers. Some people may need to be on forever, because maybe them being on a low dose for the next 20 years keeps them from yo-yoing. Because let's be honest, I have clients that have regained 50, 60 pounds from my programs. Like, I see them around town where I live, my old gym. And so would it be better that this person stays on a small dose and keeps that hunger off? But that's a different thing. The whole point is that's reoccurring revenue. That person's going to stay paying you a decent premium for 6 to 9 months to stay on this. So even if they leave your gym, even if they leave your program, they don't want to lose that. And so you're still collecting revenue from that, and hopefully still providing some resource and help as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I get so excited. In fact, right before we hopped on this podcast, I was just talking to another gym owner, owns multiple locations, who's building her online coaching business as well. And so she just hired me to help her out with that. I'm super excited about it. And she had mentioned that she's doing all this, and I'm just like, just learned of a way you can actually control the, and she's like, I'm working with that. I'm like, hell yeah. It's amazing. So, I mean, it's just so easy to sell this stuff, guys. I can't tell you, like, and you can be the one to do it the right way. Whereas all these doctors, we know they're just writing prescriptions and sending people out the door.
Well, and keep in mind too, with the doctors, like if they're, and we can get into the legal stuff, but most of these online pharmacies, they're a pharmacy. So what do they make money on? The medication. So they're going to increase that dose over and over. They don't want people to titrate off. They don't want to do microdosing. They want to do it the max, because they're selling a drug. While we have drugs, we don't necessarily make money on it. That's not our model. We're a SaaS that's going to connect you with the doctor. And so we're able to get very competitive pricing for you, but you don't need to push more. It's just a tool. Kettlebells shouldn't be your entire workout. Every once in a while it's okay, but like it's a piece. And that's the same thing here.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the neat thing. And there's so many cool things. So like on the technical side, you know, walk us through kind of like, how does that work a little bit?
Yeah, so I mean, it's really simple. Is essentially when someone comes in to sign up, I'll just take you through the steps. They walk in, they meet one of your clients, Scott, and your client's got a great three-tier offer, ABC, and you're like, hey, I got fitness, nutrition, accountability, and personal training, or fitness, nutrition, accountability, and medical. They pick the medical option, and you charge their card $5,000, just like your doctor client. You go into our portal. Our portal is white labeled to you, and you just click a button, add patient. We're dumb gym people. We come from the gym space, so we made our software super easy. It's not like MindBody back in the day with like 13,000 links. And then you select the medication. And we have a lot of options on peptides and medications, but we recommend starting with tirzepatide or semaglutide, just the GLPs. And then you select how long, monthly, bi-monthly, 12 weeks. We recommend 12 weeks, but we have options there. And then you just click go, and it makes a link. And you can either fill out that link with the person right then and there, because the portal is white labeled to you, or you can send it to them on their phone. And they fill that link out, and that goes directly to the doctor. The doctor reviews it all. There is a place where, as a trainer, if you want to upload some notes to that application of the doctor and you want to have some insight on there, the doctor will review that. The doctor sees it. If there's any reason that they need to talk to the patient, they'll reach out. Some states we have to do a teleconference. So we have to actually do a video. And so we're set up for that. And then at that point, it gets sent to the pharmacy. The pharmacy ships it directly to your patient. And then our care team, white labeled as the care team, will give them shipping information, tracking for their package, injection care, what to expect at the medication, videos from the doctor, all of that. And they're there 7 days a week. So if there's any questions, concerns, anything like that, they can reach out. We can adjust dosage. We can get them an additional prescription if needed. And so that way you're not doing any of the medical side. You're literally just there to help train them, get them to the gym, get them lifting weights, motivate them. And we do everything on the medical side, backing you up.
That's beautiful. But just in case you guys didn't catch it, guys, is you charge what you want to charge for this program. You collect the money. And that's amazing. And then you're getting the drugs at like wholesale cost, I believe, correct?
Yeah, so we have, I mean, just real simple say, let's say someone does 12 weeks of semaglutide. I just know this off the top of my head. You're looking at, we have a doctor's fee, shipping fee, and then the medication. But we have almost 6,000 patients. So the volume that we do, we can buy cheaper than just about anyone. And so you're going to be about $225 for 12 weeks of medication, patient care, and a doctor's visit. So our average low end partner will charge $997 for some sort of program, nutrition, coaching with that. But then we have people that are doing $5, $6, $7,000, and that's not counting. If you wanted to have them do it the next 12 weeks, it's just $225 again, and you're still charging whatever you want, and they're going to probably stay on for 6 to 9 months.
Amazing. Like already with who I was talking about, right? For her online coaching and mentorship option and all that, like I'm already dialing in all these offers and prices and everything. And man, I am so excited about this.
Well, and just to geek out real quick, because while we're on GLPs, before we shift, I mean, GLPs are peptides, but before we shift, a lot of trainers right now are sitting there going, okay, well, maybe I work with more specialty, perimenopause, all these different things, and maybe it's not a weight loss. What's really interesting is with all the studies coming out with trizepatide especially, it is now approved for microdosing for anti-inflammatory. It can support, we gotta be careful with how we say it, but support autoimmune and a lot of these things. And so you don't have to have someone 30 pounds overweight. I'm on a microdose of trizepatide right now, and it's super small, but it gives me just a little bit less food noise, helps me make a little bit better decisions. I still eat normal, but it's helped me reduce a ton of inflammation. And so there's a lot of opportunities now besides just weight loss, even with the GLPs.
Oh yeah. Yeah. All the different peptides, man, it's crazy. I was just talking about that couple that we went to Belize with, and they had the ones that'll tan your skin like crazy, which is just unbelievable.
We don't have that one yet, where it's our doctor has to approve it, and she's like, I don't know if people need this yet, but
no, it's a very small portion of vain people. Calling you out, Lane. But yeah, that's not exactly an important one or anything like that. But it's crazy what some of these things can do in this technology, and this is also where I have never wanted to look into half-assing this either, because you can buy from certain websites. If you Google hard enough, you can find places just to buy them yourself, right? And get them sent. That being said, I've been hearing a lot of warnings on that yes, by legally they say, oh, this might be unfit or unsafe or blah, blah, blah. But I've been hearing a lot of press from the doctor that I have been seeing too, is that a lot of that shit is unregulated, is not likely to be not safe, contaminated, this and that, right?
It's honestly, it's the Wild West. And we've been watching this. We had a hard decision about 6 months ago of whether we wanted to go into what was categorized as research-only peptides. And there was a lot of money for us to be made because we wouldn't have to pay the doctor's fee. And there were so many things we could have cut short on. But our mission was bridging medical and wellness. And I'm glad we made that decision, because now these labs are getting cut down. There's lawsuits that are coming out. I mean, you're literally handing something that says not for human consumption to a client and charging them for it and say, take it.
Right.
You're acting as a medical provider versus everything that we do comes from a 503A pharmacy, purity test, the doctor signed off on it. If anything comes back, the doctor can say, hey, here's my proof of why they needed it. You have no paper trail if you just sent someone and said, hey, take this. And that just is scary.
That's what a lot of people just don't want to think about that. But the fact of the matter is you're recommending, and I know a couple online coaches kind of doing this, right? And whether they're buying it themselves or they're sending it to the site, and if you're recommending that and doing this, and it says not fit for human, that shit can come back on you. And I don't think you realize that one bad experience could ruin everything for you.
I did an infographic the other day for our marketing, and it was so our average peptide vial is about $75 to $85 from the pharmacy. So this is the right legal stuff. You're saving, it might be $40, $50 more than the online one. But how many of those do you need to sell to make up for a $500,000 lawsuit?
Yeah.
The margin's just, the juice isn't worth the squeeze, as you said earlier.
Absolutely. And this is why, I've been putting it off to look into how to set up legally. Because one, I work with trainers all over the United States, Canada, Europe, Australia, right? And laws are different in every damn state, even in the US. And so I just haven't looked into it too hard because it's complicated, it's messy. And I've just found the ones that give you a 10, 15% kickback, and they're typically selling, who knows what that experience is like that you're handing off. And I just haven't seen anything worth pursuing.
I
unless
mean,
you know what you're doing in your state and blah blah blah. But this is the only thing I've seen where you can control the process. You have the whole medical back end of it squared away, and it's legal and it's done the right way.
the amount of money, coming from being a trainer and a gym owner, the amount of money I've spent on legal teams and consultants and stuff in the past year has been insane. Cause like I used to have a lawyer thing. I had like Legal Zoom. I pay like $100 a year to, but we didn't want anything to backfire on people. That's the biggest thing is how do we protect not just ourselves as an entity, but like you as the partner, like you need to make sure things are done the right way. And so we also do some training because yeah, you're still dealing with medical. You as a trainer can't tell someone adjust your dosage. Now you're in the medical lane. You got to be careful on that. And so we provide a little certification on that. But that being said, we do everything we can to make it to where you have a successful business and then you're also being compliant. Because we want both. We want profit, but we want you to feel good about what you're doing.
Yeah. And guys, obviously you guys know why I love this so much is because being able to, if you want to make more money, solve bigger problems, right? And this is how you do it. And you can combine your high ticket system with the medical side of it. And it's so much easier to get people's attention on this. It just is.
And it's just something to think about, Scott. And this is some stuff that I think we're going to be working on later is it creates so many different opportunities. So like, let's just take the average gym that I'm working with right now. They will bring somebody in on a 12-week medically supervised weight loss program. And so they bring them in, get them on a GLP. But on that sales stage, they present, or the sales session present, hey, here's our program. In the next year, you're going to lose about 12, 15 pounds. We're going to keep you on GLPs for a few weeks after to maintain. Then we're going to get you on some fat loss peptides and then work on inflammation and cognitive. And you just paint this journey. And now you have resale opportunities over the entire year. And it's a whole year. It's not just this 12-week program.
Yeah.
So I think that's the thing that's so huge is like it opens up so many more categories. Now we're doing labs. So, hey, we're going to do labs today. It's your first day. We'll review them in 12 weeks. Let's just get you started, but we'll review them. Come back with the labs, make recommendations, and we have some tools that are coming out for that as well. So now you're not just guessing. You're not saying go talk to Jake at NutriShop and get these supplements. It's like, no, this is precision. This is what you need.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And peptides do a variety of different things. And that's the really cool thing. You have more tools, right? You got a longer customer journey with this. And you brought up something that I know you're adding. And this is also an impediment sometimes, right? Because in sometimes like, well, in my program, should I include the cost of labs? But then usually it runs through insurance, but then sometimes it doesn't. And if it doesn't, like they're buying it through me, it's really inflated. It's all over the place. So you guys are also integrating that as well. I believe that's coming down the pipeline. And then that's at a very low cost, I believe too.
Yeah, that's going to be coming out. Again, everything we do, and this is a big lesson, is like I've been a gym owner where we'd slap together a program and launch it in a week. Now being in 50 states, now having over 500 partners, everything we do has to be so buttoned up. We've all bought that janky software from some trainer person that was like, oh, I have this new thing, and it just wasn't there. We can't do that anymore. We have a full dev team. So labs are there. They're ready. We're expecting probably January. But the goal is we want to make sure you have the back end of what to do with it. So you have labs. How do you then take that as not a doctor and say, these are the recommendations? Or how do we have that process put in there for you guys? But the great thing is there is margins. We can get like a $400 panel that would be at LabCorp and you would pay 80 or 90 and charge the client whatever you want or build it into your high ticket program. Yeah. And that's the goal is everything is done with how do we build this into a comprehensive care package?
That's what I love because simple scales. When you're trying to piece together this and then this and then this and then this, it's very difficult and I hate it. Like I'm very hardworking, but I'm also lazy at the same time. Right. And I just don't want a lot of resistance. And I've got to work through my employees a lot of times. Right. So I just don't want a lot of that resistance. And so this is a way you can kind of really have it all. It just eliminates so much of that.
Well, Scott, this is going to go opposite of what you typically preach, but just for some people to think simple. There's a client of ours, Brian Meisberg. I got to shout him out in Buffalo, New York. Brian is a social media G too. Check him out. He's got great stuff. But Brian was at one of our masterminds and he was one of our top performers in Asher. And I was kind of trying to figure out like, what did you do? Like, why do you have so many more patients than anyone else? And 2 personal training gyms, all he did was just went and talked to every client. Like, hey, have you ever taken a GLP? And they're like, yeah. He's like, awesome. We're going to do that here, but you also get a personal training session. It costs this much per month. Are you in? And it was the same price they were already paying, but it came with a PT session. And he added like 80 clients in a week. And it was just like, now, he wasn't high ticket. He was just doing a monthly, which you have the option to do with Asher. You can do monthly. It's a little bit less profit margin, but that was so simple. And now it's just part of their membership. Like they just go. And so there's so many ways to make this simple and easy. And it's just people, like you said, people want it. They're already doing it. They're just not telling you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. In many cases, they're hiding it from us. Now, big part of this too is, hey, there's going to be a lot of people listening on this one. They're saying this sounds great, but I really don't know this game. You know what I mean? I don't know a lot into peptides. I don't know a lot into GLP-1s. I don't know a lot into the X or Y or Z. So, what do you do to kind of get everyone? Because obviously there's got to be some level of understanding, education that needs to be developed. So kind of like, what do you have in place for that?
Yeah, so I mean, we obviously came from fitness, so we were the same way. And so we've got curriculum right now. When someone comes on, we have some basic certifications on the different medications. Sneak peek in Q1, we do have a really, really in-depth certification coming out, like NASM level of how to be a health and fitness coach with GLP-1s and peptides, everything from workouts to nutrition, like how to do all that. So that's just a teaser because I'm an education nerd. But we have that essentially for the practitioner now. How do you talk to your clients about GLPs? What are the actions? It's almost like you don't want to know too much because it doesn't really matter, but it's what do you do to help this person best? The other thing I would just encourage anyone that's watching this is peptides are like a whole thing. Like GLPs are pretty simple. That's where I tell people to start. Peptides, because you're hitting so many things. You have anti-inflammatory, you have beauty, you have all this stuff. Just like you said earlier, start simple. Pick one thing, do it really, really well. Do a GLP push for 90 days, and then maybe you want to do a BPC 157 anti-inflammatory push for the next 30 days. Like pick it and keep it simple. Don't try to learn everything at once. It's not worth it. We do have doctors and providers that use our service, so we have a lot more options, but I would not encourage everyone to go crazy yet.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's the great thing is they're going to provide you with the education on all that kind of stuff. And that's a big thing too. Just because you don't just want to be asking ChatGPT everything too. As accurate as good as it is, sometimes it doesn't get the best information. So,
well, and sometimes it doesn't have context. Like asking a patient, hey, or saying, hey, what should this person take when maybe they have a history of this kind of cancer you didn't ask about? And so that is where having a medical professional still review it just protects you.
Yeah. Yeah.
One thing I didn't mention too with labs, we are going to be launching hormones probably in Q1 as well. So we will have the option for that, which the margins aren't as great on that, but it doesn't matter if you build them into a package, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. When you say margins, it's just, the cost of the meds and what you would charge in the market. But again, right, you guys are selling solutions, not just selling this thing, right? And so you can pad it a lot more.
Well, and I think the interesting thing is like, we've all had a client that comes for a program, 6 weeks, 12 weeks, a year even, and then they leave. And then you kind of like reach out and try to do your follow-up, work your list. But if you don't have anything to like draw them back in, it's always been a challenge. But if somebody goes on TRT, they're probably going to stay on it forever. And now you're their point of contact for that. They might have a doctor they're seeing through you, but you're the one that's facilitating this. And so maybe they're stopped at your facility. Still reach out to them. You're still making money off them, but you can also still reach out and say, hey, let's do a check-in. Let's do an update. Where are we at? What's going on? Oh, your body fat's dropping? Yeah, great. Or it's not dropping. Let's get you this. Like it always gives you the opportunity to come back with a little more authority than just, hey, let's get you back in the gym.
Oh yeah. It makes it so much easier for you to retain people when they move. It makes it so like, think of how big your contact list is. Think of all the people that you've trained and that have been clients over the years, months, whatever. And yeah, I mean, you can, somebody moved away 2 years ago and then now you know how to do online coaching and do that, but it's hard to get them in. And the minute you start talking about this, you can get their attention really easily. And maybe it is initially they're working with you a little bit more to get habits down. And right, you can send them, it could involve workouts or not, doesn't even have to, but it can be more about nutritional habits and mindset. And then you're helping them with their hormones or the GLP-1s or whatever it is. And yeah, maybe it's a little bit, for your first 8 or 9 weeks or 12, you're with them a little bit more consistently on that. But then think of it, ongoing, especially with HRT, they're going to keep going on that. And, it doesn't need to be more than a call every quarter with you. And you can keep billing them and retain them and have a very light workload as well. But it's just, we've just met not too long ago, but like my wheels are spinning in so many different directions because this can be applied in multiple ways for multiple people with multiple businesses. And I'm just pumped about it.
No, it's exciting. And I think it's fun. It's just like, I mean, you and I think are very similar, but I was even thinking the other day, if I had my old mailing list that I had for my gyms and I was just like, hey, who's got joint pain? Hop on this webinar. And I got every person, and we just did a push for BPC 157. It's just, hey, it's a stretching program, drink some water, and here's this peptide that'll really help for 30 days. You can't tell me I wouldn't get 30, 40 sales just right there. And that's just extra.
Yep.
That's just bonus with nothing more than doing the webinar and handing out the resources.
Oh, it's so easy. I mean, I'm kind of tempted to do a lot of that myself, even though I'm so busy, like helping it, it's just like, oh, I kind of want to give it a go.
I still live in the area where like my last gym was, and it closed down. I sold it and then it's closed. And so I see all my old clients and I'm like, I'm so focused on getting Asher and the software and stuff going the right way. But I'm like, I could put out one post.
Oh, yes.
Right. And I'd be good, but it's just, I got to focus on what's most important.
Yep. Send one post, one email. So I'm going to go to my operators and figure out, hey, who's going to champion this thing and give it a run. But man, I'd love to do it myself too. I just don't have I can't sacrifice the time for my personal stuff, but I'll have one of my guys do it.
No, that's the way to go.
Yep. But yeah, so that's pretty amazing. And if you guys like, first of all, Justin's going to be, and he's going to speak at the February 12th and 13th Fitness Business Summit in Scottsdale, Arizona. If you haven't gotten your tickets, get your damn tickets. I don't know who doesn't want to be in Scottsdale in February, mid-February, but anybody living in Cold Client should come out. And then we're really going to, it's going to be workshop style. We're going to get strategic and tactical stuff done and get stuff done on your business while we're there. So going to be super important, but you're going to get to meet Justin. He's going to get to talk on stage. He's going to be able to answer your questions. He's going to be able to explain things in detail. So that will be great. And in the meantime, I'll probably drop a link in order to what's the next step? Like if they're interested in learning more, do they talk to you? What's the first action they should take?
So we have a webinar that we do 3 times a week, and I'll get you a link to that. They can hop on the webinar. It's live. They can ask questions at the end. And then even then, they'll go through all the different options, but you'll hop on a one-on-one call before if you decide to sign up. If I'm honest, though, just to get everyone at ease, the number one feedback we get from people that have come to our program is it seemed like a scam because it was too cheap. We really probably should raise our price, but I just know someone sitting there going, it's going to be like 40 grand. It's not. And actually, Scott's got something kind of negotiated for you guys as well. So we'll see if we can get that set up for you.
Yeah, we're going to do something cool for you and work something out. So, but you guys would be shocked. I mean, absolutely shocked at, I couldn't believe it. It's an absolute no brainer. It's like nothing. And it's awesome, guys. So I'm just pumped to do this. It's really, really cool. But yeah. I mean, I thought there was one other question I had for you, but I can't think of it at the moment. But at the event, you're gonna have plenty of time to talk, meet everybody, show how this integrates in your business. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. And I would just say to anyone out there too, like the one thing I think is really cool about this is he said it earlier, but you're not stuck to your zip code. So I just want to make sure someone catch that. Like we have licensed providers in 50 states. So if your aunt, sister's cousin wants to work with you in Florida, send them their trainer eyes, get them the meal plan, and then put them through our system, and you can work with them anywhere. And so for those who have a strong online presence, this is huge, even if you're not brick and mortar.
Absolutely. Appreciate that. And we'll drop the link to get connected with Justin and the webinars. We'll drop that in the show notes. So definitely check that. And then looking forward to having you, Justin. Appreciate you coming on. Looking forward to seeing you in February as well.
Right back at you.
All right. Thanks a lot for listening, everybody. We will see you next week. Listen, if you're stuck and could use some advice in your business, whether you're just starting out, a veteran in the business, or expanding online or into multiple locations, you can hop on a free call with us to pick our brains at ptlegends.com/one-on-one call. You can see that in the show notes. That is with numbers. Chances are we'll be able to help you get some clarity on what you need to do specifically in your business to get to the next level. It's not a sales call. We'll connect you with the right resources to help you solve your problems. But if you want to learn more about working with us, that's cool too. We can share that information should you want it. So book your call now to get out of the rat race before your week consumes you, which is easy to do at ptlegends.com/one-on-one call. That's with the number 1 on the number 1 call. You can find this in the show notes. See you soon.